All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Pedro da Silva, and I'm the staff product designer working in the code review team at GitLab. And today, me and Sunjung, we will talk about a partnership that we had during 3 months, what we call 3 milestones here at GitLab, where Sunjung joined us in our team. She was working in another team, and she joined us temporarily as a product designer as well and working with our team, but I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Hello, as Pedro just mentioned, my name is Sunjung Park. I was working on the enablement team, but for the past 3 months, I was able to support the code review team, which is supporting the merge request experience at GitLab. So we would like to go through about our experience, how it went, and also like to share some tips, how can we manage this better?
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect introduction, Sunjung. Yeah, I just wanted to add that the reason that Sunjung stayed with us during that time, and it was temporary, is of course she has another team that she works in, but because the code review team, which has the merge requests feature at GitLab, is one of the most important areas of our product, is where all of the collaboration happens for the users. And when our organizations are using GitLab to take advantage of all of its capabilities, everything flows through merge requests. And so it's a very important point of the user journey. And at the time, it was only me as a designer, and we needed more design capacity and also fresh eyes because some of the problems require that. And Sunjung stayed with us temporarily, and that gave us some time as well to plan and create opportunity for someone else at the company to move permanently, and that is Annabelle. She's moving permanently in the next milestone in the next month. So that's going to be great. And Sunjung kind of was a little bit the guinea pig of this transition, but it was great to have her. And yeah, today we're going to talk about first the onboarding, how that was for her and how she managed the work from the previous group or previous team. What we did that we think enabled this partnership to flourish and work well in this short time period. What are the things that we personally learned from this experience? And that is more the personal side of this conversation. And finally, we're going to wrap it up with a conclusion and what we recommend for the partnership. We will try to add in the description some timestamps so that you can click and jump directly to each section of our conversation if you're interested. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Sunjung, or if we can start with the onboarding.
Thank you for the great introduction. Yeah, I think we can just go to the next topic.
All right. Okay, so onboarding, that must have been very challenging for you, Sunjung, because we have our product is so specific on software development, and there's such a learning curve to get started and reach a productive level, and especially for designers that need to know almost everything in the area that they're working in. How was that for you, and how did you manage the work that you had from your previous team?
So I think I used like 2 weeks for onboarding before the actual milestone started. So 1 milestone means 1 month. And I think, Pedro, you did an amazing job. Like, you always provided me a lot of reading materials, including issues and the research outcomes, so that I could understand the context before I officially joined the team. So that weeks of onboarding was extremely helpful. And also I used that onboarding time to manage my existing work to my current team, so that, okay, this partnership will be happening, so I need to hand off some of the design that I was worked on at the time. So that 2 weeks went really fast, but that was really valuable time to get to know much about the new product area for me, and also to manage the work that I did at the time. And after this milestone, so after this partnership ends, and I also used like 2 weeks of offboarding time, did exactly same, but vice versa.
Exactly the opposite. So the offboarding
Yes,
phase.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. One other thing that I think helped with that onboarding. I mean, you mentioned that we provided you with reading materials to get acquainted as fast as possible to what we were doing and what our product area was all about. But I think it was also important to work with others outside of myself and you to set the right expectations. And so, yeah, we knew it was 3 months, but so we wanted to know, what do we intend to achieve with these 3 months? What are reasonable expectations to set for myself, for you, Sunjung? And I think that was very important. But again, I mean, we had to, I think, change things as we went along, because I had a plan in the beginning, and I thought, hey, this is, I think, the work that Sunjung would appreciate doing, and what also aligned with our goals in our product area. But we had never worked together, so it was also kind of a wild guess for me to understand what best fitted your work style.
Yeah, it took some time, but I think we ended up manage all the tasks that we planned to, or that we needed to. And also it was really nice that like you also recommended me to schedule some of the coffee chat with the new team members. So that was also really helpful. I just get to know each other, and also just wanted to hearing their working style, because it's different from people to people. So that really helped for me to onboard it to the team.
Exactly. And also some of them you kept in touch. So, I mean, at GitLab, for those of you who don't know, we work asynchronously. We're a completely distributed company. So every person works from whatever they want in the world and whenever they want. So, and so we don't expect others to be online, but you had these synchronous coffee chats, these Zoom calls with other people in the team, and some of them you kept those recurring chats, right?
Yes, correct. And that really helped me just to build our relationship. And I also managed to have this recurring chat with my previous team member, for example, with the product manager, so that I don't lose any of my working context for my previous and current team.
Exactly. Previous,
Yeah.
because you left them and now you joined them again. So it's your
Yeah.
current team again. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those are great things to know for other people that are experiencing this and are thinking, hey, how am I going to onboard, and how am I going to manage the work that I had from the previous group? And as I said, I think setting expectations with everyone, not only in the new group that you're joining, the new team, but also the previous team, what is going to happen with the work that you're doing, and what kind of support is reasonable to expect from you. Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, or if we can talk about things that we did more specifically that maybe helped us work during this time.
Yeah, we can move on to that topic.
Yeah, and I mean, you can take it you can highlight some of the things that you feel worked well for us.
I think our weekly synchronous meeting really helped for me to understand your perspective on certain design. And we normally work asynchronously, but sometimes we need synchronous collaboration. So that combination was really helpful for me to quickly grasp your idea and also apply some of your suggestion. And we can also quickly do the pair design. So I really enjoyed that. And also the another thing that I liked was about having like one single source of truth as retrospective issue, so that we could like revisit, okay, this month it went okay, or how can we improve? In also two UX managers were involved in, also the product manager like counterparts were involved in, and they provided really nice feedback so that we could improve our partnership like continuously. So I really like that part. And
Yeah,
would you like
yeah.
to add some more?
Yeah, so for what Sunjung was just explaining is that we have this issue, which is what you would expect to be like a central conversation, like a thread that exists in our tool in GitLab, and people were commenting there, the engineering managers, the product design managers, ourselves, on what went well, what didn't go well, what could be improved, and what we learned. And we were trying to do that, or at least I was trying to remind everyone to do that every month, so that we didn't lose that precious time that we knew exactly what was happening. So I think that was a good thing for us, and that's also, I think, allowed us to gather some of the topics that we're now talking about, because we had everything documented. And it was easy to go back to that conversation, that issue, what we call internally, and look at everyone's comments and try to extract the themes and interesting bits to talk about now. Yeah, and another thing that we did, and that was, I think, more in terms of the planning and organization of the work inside of each sprint, or as we call it at GitLab, milestones, is having like a Kanban board, a place where we could see all of the work that was assigned to ourselves as designers. And we were trying to have every issue, every task that needed UX support. For example, if we had an engineering focused task, but it needed UX support, we always try to have one of us assigned to it, and only one, so that we could, so that it was clear for everyone involved if they should talk to me or if they should talk to Sunjung. And I think that made things crystal clear, because what was happening in the beginning is that people weren't so sure of who they should talk to, and were initially, of course, coming up to me because I was the existing designer. But as I wanted Sunjung to be more and more involved, it was easier to just say, hey, Sunjung or whoever is assigned to this issue is the person you need to talk to. And so that made everything clear. And one other thing that I found valuable, and it's something that I'm going to talk about next in things that we learned, but it was something that I tried to do as much as possible, was to have me as the existing designer try to direct Sunjung as much as possible. And it might sound a bit like micromanaging, but I mean, there's a balance here, but I think we had to direct Sunjung as much as possible, because we had such a short time frame. It was 3 months, but it flew by really, really fast. And so, yeah, I tried to direct her into the issues that she and the tasks that she needed to work on, so that we started working as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think we actually both needed some time to be onboarded to each other's working style, because like for designer, it's like not common to having two designers on one cross-functional team. So I think what we did, like assigning ourselves to increase the visibility that, okay, this design issue is on by Pedro and the other issue is on by me. I think that practice was really helpful. And maybe for the future, if we use UX weighting issue, so that, okay, this design would take like 3 weights, for example, so that we could easily communicate to the counterparts like the product managers and engineers, and so that we could give some more accurate estimate for them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea to assign weights to the tasks or issues to understand how each person works and what they find difficult or large compared to another designer. Because we're short on time, I'm going to suggest that we jump to the conclusion part where we talk about the pros, the risks, and the costs. And if we have time, we can talk about the things that we learned. Sure. And if that's okay, so I'm going to suggest that we each pick like a pro, a risk, and a cost, and we talk about it. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in terms of for me, pro it was a very positive thing, was having Sunjung bringing a different perspective and challenging the status quo and triggering new ideas, just because she was coming from, still inside of GitLab, she was coming from a different part of the product, a very different part of the product, but she, during her day-to-day work, she was already using some of the features that we were working on in code review, the merge request feature. But even so, she brought a different perspective, and she asked the questions that we somehow were already assuming the answers to. So I think that was a very good thing to have.
That's good to hear. And for me as an IC, it was an amazing learning experience, like learning from you, learning from a new team, still in the same company, but as you mentioned, it's a different area of our product. So just getting used to the new area and new knowledge, it's really good opportunity for me to grow.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, these kinds of partnerships enable that. And I think that's a great thing. But at the same time, and now talking about the risks, there are two of them that I'm going to talk about them and together, is the fact that this is temporary, and we have, during this partnership, we had 2 designers working, and now it's only me. And so what can happen is that after this partnership and once the new designer leaves, in this case, Sunjung returns to her team, that her work may become stale, or that she might not see her work come to fruition. And so these are some of the risks that we also have to plan accordingly to make sure that we have time to follow through what the work that she was doing.
Yeah, that's really good point. And another personal level of risk that I'd like to highlight is probably we need to care a bit of imposter syndrome, because for the very first month, I was not feeling like I'm contributing to the team as much as I did to my existing team. But it went okay, because of course we have to admit that there is a mental cost for context switching. But I think what we did, like for like 2 weeks of onboarding and 2 weeks of offboarding, and having coffee chat and reading the right materials at the right time, talking to each other constantly, I think all of the collaboration that we did could improve this cost, and also we could overcome this risk. But yeah. I have to admit that it was not easy. It was challenging for me, but it is possible to overcome this risk. That's my point.
Yeah. I think that's a wonderful way for us to wrap up this conversation. And I think, yeah, in the end, it was a very good exercise that benefited not only us, the individuals, but also the team and the company. And that's one of the reasons why we're recording this, is so that other people can learn from this experience, both at GitLab and outside of GitLab. And we intend to write a blog post about this and more. And we will try to link that from the description of this video as well. Yeah, anything else you want to share, Sunjung, before we part ways?
No, I think you did an amazing wrap up, but I'd like to add that I highly recommend this experience, like for the temporary shift, if there's any chance, like to other designers, because it's really good.
Exactly. Yeah, same here. Thank you so much, Sunjung. Have a great day, and thank you everyone for watching, and see you all later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.